New York-born performer Douglas Ridloff came to Israel for the kickoff event for SignTalkers, a new social networking website for the deaf community to interact online. It was created by the U.S.-based SignTalk Foundation. Before the performance, he participated in a special bar mitzvah ceremony at the Western Wall in Jerusalem for deaf children. He also met with the signing community from around the Jewish state. The father of two is married to Lauren Ridloff, who is currently in the popular series The Walking Dead. She got her acting start doing webinars for SignTalk. Douglas sat down for an interview using a translator to talk about his advocacy work, beginning with chastising me for not knowing sign language. Okay, I'm going to learn. I need to learn Hebrew first, and then sign language next.
I also need to learn Hebrew, and I have to learn ASL, Israeli Sign Language.
And I'm curious that that even though American Sign Language and other sign languages are different, this is something that bridges the gap between different countries, and maybe signers can talk amongst, different nations.
First of all, obviously, deaf people, we connect to each other immediately. Facial expressions, body movements, so it's easier for us to connect. And I also use sometimes international sign language. It's more like, it's a combination of a lot of different signs around the world. Like, about 40% of it is American Sign Language, but there's European signs and a lot of gestures in there. For example, like mother and father, that's ASL. But the universal doesn't know that. That's mother, and that's papa or father. Like things that are very clearly identified. So we can connect in that way. And it's easier for us to connect.
Okay. What's with the red string? Did you get that in Israel? Yeah.
Yeah. When I went to the Western Wall, so I was walking up and some guy just approached me and he started tying me on, just like that. And he gave me a blessing. So I just left it.
When you grew up, was there any barriers that you had to overcome? For example, going to church or synagogue, and it's sound-based, and
So when I was growing up, so I did experience that when I had to go to different classes. From when I was 8 till about 10, I had a class where the teacher was deaf and he was able to sign and give and take. But until that program came, and then it closed. But until it came along, I had nothing. Then it closed, and I hit a wall, and I went to a hearing rabbi where my brother went. My brother's hearing, and he doesn't know sign. And we sat together, and we were talking in Hebrew. They're trying to teach me to read Hebrew. I don't understand anything. I struggled. I was very frustrated. And I told my mother, that's it. I can't take it. I don't understand. And I just can't go on. So my mother was like, oh, and she looked hard to really try to find a rabbi. And she found a hearing rabbi, but he knew sign language. Not skilled. But I sat with him. I was able to somewhat communicate. He was able to teach me a little bit of Hebrew. And then when I was 13, and I had a bar mitzvah, and after that, I don't remember my Hebrew, and I don't connect. It's gone. Everything that I got, it was gone because it was such a struggle for me, and there were so many obstacles, and it was relying on just staring at them, and I had to memorize it. I wasn't really able to understand each word, and it just didn't work for me. It was just total memorization, and now I don't remember it at all.
But you're here now, and you're giving back to the community, and you're doing something that transcends.
Yeah, that's why I'm doing this, because I feel I need the community, the deaf community. It doesn't matter, it's American, but I feel the whole world. We all have had these similar experiences of these obstacles and this feeling oppressed. And these language barriers, not enough like personal expression, not enough exposure to different things. And I really feel like I want to give back to our community, to the deaf community. So I'm traveling the world. I've been to Australia, I've been to Norway, Sweden, Jamaica, Cuba, American obviously also I travel. The whole world I go and I give back. I teach the kids and I teach them how you can grow and that signing school and you can express yourself with this art. So I give them an example. I am an example, ideas, I inspire them. I feel like I'm just like throwing out seeds, scattering them all over. And I'm watering them. And some will grow and blossom into beautiful flowers. Some will grow and then wilt. And some will never grow. But as long as I'm still trying and I'm throwing out those seeds and I'm watering them.
Thank you very much. Okay. I'll see you on stage. Okay, shalom. This is Benjamin Bresky for the Jerusalem Post. I'm with Joseph Geliebter, who is from SignTalk, the resource for sign language interpreters. We're here at Nocturno Cafe in Jerusalem for the inaugural event. And why don't you tell us all about this?
Yes. The Sign Talkers, a business that we started 22 years ago, providing sign language interpreters for the deaf in the New York and Florida regions. And then I started a foundation called SignTalk Foundation about 4 years ago to serve the deaf community as well as the sign language community as well. And approximately several months ago, we started developing an online website to serve the signing community called SignTalkers, which will be a bridge for sign language communicators, deaf and hearing, from around the world. And we had a launch in New York about 2 weeks ago in a WeWork space, and now we're here in Israel.
You're bringing this thing to Israel.
Yes.
Okay.
It's like the invention of the telegraph bridged the East and the West of the United States, and I want to say that we're trying to connect intercontinentally, different countries, and I chose Israel as the first country to connect these communities.
Now, that brings me to my next question, which is, what's the difference between American Sign Language and Israeli Sign Language?
There are nuances that are different. I'm not an expert at those. I know that even in accounting there are differences, but I know that the entertainer that we brought along, Douglas Ridloff, he's been going into different deaf schools. He's able to communicate with these deaf children, and even though he speaks ASL, American Sign Language, mostly through his tremendous ability to artistic ability, he's able to communicate cross-culturally.
So, like the telegraph, this could be international and transcend languages.
Yes, and hopefully we'll communicate, unite different cultures, and we have on our site different lounges, which are different interests, so that people can join on the site. Let's say you want to share interests with other people in a group, you go into a lounge. I like to say you kick off your shoes, you join. It's not a physical space, but it is a space where you can just join others with your in your community and communicate in sign. But he's going to do something, Doug, that's beyond sign language. It's not going to be interpreted.
Okay.
He does what's known as ASL Slam. He's the executive director, and it's not going to be. He's going to tell the interpreters, do not interpret what I'm doing. It's artistic. It's poetry of the hands.
Okay. And how did you personally get involved in this thing?
It's an interesting story. Lauren Ridloff, his wife, did for SignTalk our very first 3 webinars. She was not an actress at the time. She was just a teacher for children. 2.5 years later, Broadway discovered her, and she had the leading role in Children of the Lesser God and was nominated for a Tony.
Okay.
And since then, her career has taken off. She's on Walking Dead, season 9. Now she's gonna be here tonight by videotape. She recorded a message. She's also she was nominated for Miss Deaf America for 3 years. And SignTalk Foundation, I presented her with an award for outstanding achievement in 2018. When I communicated with her through sign language, she said, on one condition, I need to bring my family. She brought Doug and their 2 boys, who are both deaf. And I'll mention to you, I'll share with you, it was one of the most enriching experiences that I've ever had. They all came to my office, and such nice, beautiful people. And actually, I want to give her credit. She sent me a note afterwards saying, thank you for everything that you do on behalf of the signing community. And that's where the seed for this whole project of SignTalk began. She didn't say deaf community. She said SignTalk community. And I said, wow, there's a community. She doesn't want to be typecast as deaf.
Is she a zombie in the TV show?
No, she's a survivor.
Okay.
She's not. Oh, you know that show? Wow.
Okay.
And by the way, they're moving to London. They're going to be taping a Disney show.
Okay.
That's a new development for the fall.
Okay, next question. I interviewed a Jewish fellow who's deaf, and he was telling me about his experiences growing up and going to synagogue, and this is maybe in the 60s, and they said, why bother taking the kid to synagogue because he can't hear anything anyway, and he discussed like the struggles with not just him but other kids of other religions, and eventually he had a bar mitzvah and everything.
Yes.
So maybe you have an experience in that.
We've come a long way. I mean, there's so much more sign language services at synagogues and just in general. There's a yeshiva in Toronto that basically is all in sign. There's a lot more services available out there and sensitivities in general to the needs of that population. And in general, in all disabilities, it's a different world. I would say since the 60s, we made a lot of progress. There still could be more.
Yeah.
And even in Israel, we made a lot. Israel is head and shoulders above any other country in the region. But compared to the United States, I'm sure there could be even more resources allocated towards serving this population. I'm not being critical. I'm just saying, it's a question of priority.
Yeah.
I don't know how you get funding, but the more help we can get, from the government, from private organizations. But in the United States, there are very tough regulations. The Americans with Disabilities Act forces every public entities such as a hospital to provide services. I don't know how strong the regulations are here, but in general, as I said, Israel's progressive, but you can't have too much services.
Well, thank you very much, Dr. Geliebter, for joining us.
My pleasure, and it's a pleasure being here.
Okay.
In Yerushalayim, and thank you for your interest in our organization.
Thank you.